Welcome to Novelist Spotlight. This is Mike Consul. Thank you for listening. During my most recent podcast, I hosted novelist and writing coach Beth Barany, and we had a great and lively time discussing timed writing, self-talk, neuro-linguistic programming, creativity, activating the body in addition to the mind, genre writing, and so on. We had such a good time, we ran out of time before Beth had a chance to read a bit of her writing and familiarize listeners with the style of her work. So I asked her to send an audio file reading an excerpt from one of her books, and that is coming up presently. Beth Barany introduces the book she's reading from and gives us about an 8-minute reading from the start of that book. Here's Beth Barany doing exactly that. Please enjoy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Beth Barany, and I am reading from the opening of Into the Black, the first book in my Janie McAllister mystery series. From her elevated vantage point on the stairs, Janie McAllister, lead investigator of L'Etoile's security team, scanned the crowd of gamblers for the elusive pickpocket, the thief who'd been striking every night for the last few weeks. She didn't see him, but he was down there somewhere, hunting for his next mark. She had to find him before he stole from another guest and cost the casino more business, and before she was fired. She was facing a 3 strikes and you're out scenario. What the stardust? She wasn't a green recruit anymore, but she'd already messed up twice since she'd arrived at the L'Etoile space station 25 days ago and on her first job as a lead investigator. Tonight, she'd make an arrest that would stick and get her back in the good graces of the chief. On the floor below her, the immense view screen window flickered to life, and a deafening cheer went up. On the casino floor, 300 bejeweled men and women, attired in tailored tuxes and evening gowns, whispered, whistled, and hooted at the show broadcast on the view screen. The heady smell of expensive alcohol and perfumes permeated the football field-sized area. Out in space, beyond the energy shield that protected the station from cosmic rays and other hazards of space, crazy acrobats twirled for their nightly gravity-defying act. Their fantastic contortions, a literally out-of-this-world spectacle. They danced with no tethers, using only jet packs on their sleek, sparkly spacesuits to control their precise movements. One of the many reasons people flocked to the Hotel Casino Space Station, L'Etoile, the star. Stations, check in, please, Janie said in a low voice into her wrist communicator and scanned the crowd. Their attention was on the show. Section 2, 1026, Security Agent Melanie Shahan said, her tone cool. The all clear. Section 2 was off to Janie's right, near the slot machines and the exit. Security Agent Shahan's sparkly black pantsuit and fabricated diamond necklace made her hard to pick out from the rest of the revelers. Janie glanced again at the daring acrobats flying through space out there beyond the floor-to-ceiling view screen window. Itchy pain stabbed through her solar plexus like 1,000 bees swarming. Panic flooded her limbs, urging her to run. She shouldn't have looked. Her damn zero-G force phobia was back, the one she'd battled during spacewalk training at Space Wing Basic. There really was no reason for it. She loved everything about space. The job. Breathe. She could do this. She thought she'd arrested the culprit 2 different times, 2 different men, but both times the chief had said there was not enough evidence for them to be the nightly thief, and he wrote her up, putting her back on probation. They may not have been the nightly pickpocket, but she'd certainly caught thieves. Someone must be putting pressure on the chief to release the suspects. But when she'd confronted him, the chief had merely given her a beady stare from behind his archaic eyeglasses. Who wore eyeglasses anymore? For all her hustle, she'd landed 2 demerits on her work record and the enmity of her new team. And that fracking warning. One more wrong arrest and she was out, the chief warned her. She couldn't believe it. She'd never done so poorly in a job, and she'd no idea this one would be so rigorous. She'd been expecting a low-key job, and she needed this one, for Mom. She probably would have stayed in Space Wing Command working as an MP criminal investigator if Mom's illness had responded to standard treatment. No, that wasn't true. Her contract was up with Space Wing and she'd been hungry for something new. Section 3, 1026. Security Agent Antonio Lane's iridescent mermaid gown fit right in among the high roller tables in Section 3, to Janie's left. You need to stay off the comms and let us do our job, ma'am. Lane, enough, Janie snapped. Then she softened her tone. Roger that. We're all in this together. She tended to be too clipped, too military. That's what the chief had said, anyway. Lane muttered something that sounded like, yeah, right. But Janie let it go, for now. She'd speak to the agent later. The op came first. If this had been Space Wing, Janie would have earned herself a formal warning for her backtalk. Janie caught another glimpse of the acrobats gyrating in space. A high-pitched whine vibrated in her head, no more than a half second, and made her ocular implant screen flicker with gray lines and white dots. Then the sound stopped and the screen flipped back to normal. Thank the stars, but what in Venus hell was going on? What was glitching her system? It had to be something hardcore because her world-class implant was supposed to be unhackable. Yet she'd had another glitch her first night on Lightwall. She'd searched for the source in the security logs, but hadn't been able to find any breaches or anomalies. Not that her hacking skills were anything but average. Venus hells, the glitch was messing with her focus. In her previous attempts to catch the thief, she'd let her team behind and gone undercover, after learning that no one had tried working the case covertly. But flying solo hadn't worked either, so she brought in the rest of the team. Tonight, either she'd catch one of the previous men in the act, or apprehend someone new, with enough evidence to convince the chief to approve the arrest. Coup, Janie prompted. Oh, yes, ma'am. Section 4, 1026 also. Security Agent Edward Coup cleared his throat. He was above them, in the overwatch position on the mezzanine. Is there anything else, Coup? Janie asked. No, ma'am. Coup hadn't given her a hard time about messing up the first two arrests. He'd been relaxing with his buddies. He'd rather be relaxing with his buddies than working, though he did his job competently enough from what she'd seen these past few weeks. In his tux with a shimmery bright green cummerbund and matching bow tie, he looked like someone's favorite uncle or big brother, with a kindly smile for everyone. The full immersion pop music accelerated, thumping through the floors and walls of the cavernous casino. Another cheer went up. Janie admired the acrobat's courage and athleticism, but after the first night aboard, she couldn't watch the show anymore. As it had the previous nights, her heart rate jumped and her breathing picked up at the thought of whirling weightless in the void. No connection to anything solid. No up or down. No control, no answers. You're not 13 anymore, Janie, and flat on your back, blind in the hospital in Spaceport Las Cruces. You're 32 years old and a former lieutenant commander of Space Wing Command Orbital Criminal Investigative Unit. It was 2130, damn it. Work, here and now. Breathe and blink, she commanded herself. A waiter rushed past, a tray full of highballs of caffeinated fizzy vodka, its pungent, fruity aroma in his wake. The lights dimmed, and the view screen brightened as the music rumbled louder. She'd worked during the show enough, since arriving about a month ago, to know that she had 20 minutes until its end. Time enough to catch a pickpocket in the act. If they felt invisible as they moved through the riveted crowd, they might be less careful. 19 minutes left, Janie said through the comm, though she didn't really need to remind them. From her periphery, she spotted a flash of red and black, a movement out of place. Perhaps someone was shoving their way through the crowd.